Thursday, December 3rd, we're welcoming in the holiday season with Boston Ballet's The Nutcracker. Brad Schlagheck is in studio to talk to us.
And later, it's time to welcome in the winter with some heartwarming tunes from Andrew Smith and his incredible band.
I'm Maggie Morla.
And I'm Anthony Chase. Welcome to Good Morning Emerson.
On our show today, we will be covering the Cocoanut Grove fire tragedy that occurred in 1942. Boston was commemorating it this weekend.
That's right. Our executive producer, Ian Steele, makes his return to the screen with that report. But also, we're going to talk movies. That's what you like to do during your time off, during the holiday season.
That's right. December is a huge month for movies, so there's plenty out in the theaters this month. But we will also be discussing the huge news in football this weekend.
Yes, that Alabama-Auburn game was an instant classic. It will go down in history, and Mike Cantalupo will have the historic recap of that game. But now we're going to Brittany Gervais for this morning's top headlines. Brittany, good morning to you.
Thanks, guys. Good morning. Federal investigators want to know what led to Sunday's train derailment in New York City. More than 60 people were injured. The train went off the tracks after the operator said the brakes had stopped working. Officials from the National Transportation Safety Board have been collecting evidence at the scene, including the train's data recording device. The box may provide some insight into what was going on at the time. All 7 passenger cars of the Metro North train went off the tracks as it came around a sharp curve in the Bronx. Now, President Obama and his healthcare website face new problems this week. Americans waiting for health insurance now rush to the site to sign up. An administration advisor warns that the sudden increase in traffic on the website could slow it down. The administration met their deadline for making the website run as smoothly as possible for most users, and now consumers are rushing to make the December 23rd deadline. Millions of Americans who need coverage should be insured by January 1st. Couples in Hawaii are wasting no time tying the knot. The same-sex marriage law went into effect Monday night. Just minutes after midnight, resorts in Hawaii held mass ceremonies for couples who wanted to be the first in the state to be legally married. The new law lets same-sex couples get married the same day as registration for marriage licenses. This means Hawaii weddings will actually be a bigger business than ever. And your holiday gifts could soon be delivered by drones. Now, when you click the checkout button of Amazon.com, your purchases could be delivered to you via a program called Prime Air. These unmanned drones, which look a little bit like toy helicopters, will be delivering packages to your doorstep. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos told 60 Minutes he expects to have these up and running in the next 4 to 5 years. The copters are currently being tested and so far can carry at 5 pounds at the most. That's everything I have for you this morning. Back to you guys.
Now, Brittany, these Amazon drones are so interesting. Is there anything else that you can tell us about these?
Well, the main purpose of these drones is to do like same delivery shipping type of thing. So when you press the checkout button on Amazon.com, you can actually see what you ordered at your doorstep within the next 30 minutes. So this is definitely something that's pretty interesting to see. Maybe in the next couple of years, we'll see these toy helicopters flying around Boston.
Now, Brittany, there was some breaking news last night about the MBTA that students are definitely going to be interested in. Could you give us some of the details on that development?
Yeah, actually, this is a pretty new development, and the T-service will be open on Saturday and Sunday until 3 a.m. now. Governor Deval Patrick managed to find the money to actually pull this together, so this is definitely something the city has wanted to see for a long time, especially since the bars around here close at 2 a.m.
All right, well, thank you, Brittany. Over the weekend, Boston commemorated the 1942 Cocoanut Grove nightclub tragedy.
That's right, and none other than our executive producer, Ian Steele, brings us that report from the site of where the fire happened.
Both her parents, her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's parents, she was the only one to make it out alive. Today was the very first time, 71 years later, that she returned to this site.
The site was the Shawmut Street extension in Boston's Bay Village, the same place where the Cocoanut Grove nightclub once stood. In 1942, the club burned to the ground, killing 492 people. Saturday, the extension was renamed Cocoanut Grove Lane in memorial of the fire's 71st anniversary. Survivors include John Rizzo, who was a 16-year-old busboy in the club.
I lost 2 waiter friends of mine, and 2 bus boys, and a manager.
While Rizzo lost many in the blaze, he also remembers the lives he saved.
There's a girl sitting in a 2nd-story window, and I turned around to her, and I said, "What are you doing up there?" I said, "You better jump." she jumped right on me.
Marshall Cole was a tap dancer at the Coconut Grove. He led a group of girls to safety.
Thinking they knew where I was going. I didn't know where I was going any more than the next guy. Well, I was a hero, right? Me?
Survivors and family members want the Coconut Grove Memorial not only to act as a remembrance of tragedy, but as a sign of progress for Boston.
To highlight that their death wasn't in vain, that we, the phoenix out of the ashes, so much good came from such a tragic event.
That good included advances in burn treatment and building safety regulations. In Boston, for Good Morning Emerson, I'm Ian Steele.
Thanks, Ian. He gave up part of his Thanksgiving break to do that report, so we thank you for that. And also, winter break, the big one is coming up for Emerson students. Where are you going to find them? Probably at the box office.
In the movie theaters, that's for sure. As we said earlier, December is a huge month for movies. Anthony, I know that you saw something over Thanksgiving break.
Yes, I saw Disney's Frozen. Now, I had some little kids with me that I took to the movie. We had a great time. The kids loved it. For me, though, wasn't my favorite. The music just wasn't memorable. Maybe it's because I grew up, in the 90s during some classic Disney movies. But, I mean, there were some positives to the movie,
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty surprising because I've heard really good things about the movie from other people who have seen it. And it seems like there's definitely a theme of female empowerment going on in these Disney movies.
There is, actually, yeah. It's about a sister going to save her sister, which is cool. But that's not the only movie that actually deals with female empowerment. The Hunger Games 2, Catching Fire, is also out, and that is just making a lot of noise at the box office.
That one is at the top of my list right now. I'm a huge Jennifer Lawrence fan, so can't wait to see her kill it. And I've heard only good things about her performance.
Yeah, some people say that it's even better than the first one, which if you can pull off a sequel that's better than the first one with a different director, that's something to be commended for. So definitely check that one out as well.
That's right. It seems like this is also a huge year for sequels. Anchorman 2, the big one coming out this season. Emerson students are especially excited about this.
Yeah, everybody's going to be an expert on it by tomorrow. I'll have my own opinions whether I think it's better than the first one. I won't be afraid to say the first one was a classic. I don't know if this one can live up to it. But if Ron Burgundy introduces it himself, maybe that'll add a little.
I heard something really exciting about this movie is that because so much of it was improvised, they actually had enough material to make a second movie that has the same storyline, but different dialogue, different jokes. So the director said they might actually try to produce a second and have that in the theaters as well.
I wouldn't put it past them with Will Ferrell, at the helm. But also The Hobbit 2, or, the next development of the movie is coming out. This is a book, The Hobbit, that they split up into 3 movies. Now, you just can't get enough of Lord of the Rings. So if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you definitely have to go out and see this one too.
That's right. And one last movie we have, Saving Mr. Banks. It's got Tom Hanks in it. It's the story of Walt Disney and also Mary Poppins. So I think that'll be a perfect family movie for the holiday season. Maybe one you go out and see the day after Christmas or on New Year's Day, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Well, moviegoers are getting into the holiday spirit, but let's see if we have the weather to match.
Hey Mal, how's it looking?
Hey, good morning, Anthony and Maggie. Well, it isn't beginning to look a lot like Christmas just yet. Still no snow in the forecast, and it's going to stay pretty warm for right now. Right now, it's 36 degrees. But later on, from noon to 3, we'll level off at a high of 45 degrees. The usual bit of wind here and there from 5 to 10 miles per hour. But that wind won't be making you chilly. The clouds will. Pretty cloudy for most of the day, which may bring some rain, but we're only looking at about 10% chance. Later on tonight, the clouds will gradually move out of Boston. Partially cloudy skies, so you'll be able to catch a look of that new moon. Still a little bit of wind tonight, but not too much. Pretty cold out overnight with a low of 32 degrees. And moving into tomorrow, warming back up to 46 degrees from 2 to 3 p.m. The sun will be out pretty much in full force with a few clouds here and there. And those clouds will move back in at night, staying warm with a low of 40 because of a warm front that's moving in, which means for rain. Let's take a look at that now. And on Thursday, grab your umbrella when heading out the door. 40% chance of rain in the morning, with showers more likely by the end of the day. High of 51, so hopefully that rain will hold off even for a little bit to enjoy that nice weather. In the evening, low of 39. And on Friday, we might even get some snow flurries in the morning while it's still below freezing, but it'll warm up to 50 degrees, so those flakes will turn into rain with some showers in the afternoon. The rain will let up until late into the night. Snow flurries possible again with a low of 35. And this weekend, Saturday might bring some more rain in the morning. By midday, it will let up with partially cloudy skies for the rest of the day. High of 40 degrees, low of 28 at night. And that's your local weather update. I'm Mal Meyer. Back over to you, Maggie and Anthony.
Thanks, Mal. Now it's time for a commercial break, but when we come back, we will be discussing a holiday classic, the Nutcracker.
That's right. Soloist Brad Schlagheck will be with us, so stay tuned.
Welcome back. We've got Brad Schlagheck in studio now.
Brad has been with the Boston Ballet since 2006, and now he's a soloist in the Nutcracker. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So can you just tell us a little bit about the rehearsal process and about how everything was learning the choreography?
With the Nutcracker, because we do it every single year, pretty much most of us know the choreography by now. We have a lot of new people in the company, so we finish our fall production the end of October usually, beginning of November, and we have usually 2 or 3 short weeks to put everything together. Pretty hectic, especially after opening weekend. We still have new casts getting on stage this week for extra rehearsals, but happens every year, so we're ready for it.
Can you talk about what it's like to be a soloist and work with the choreographer? You know, that's a bigger role for you now, I understand. You have less parts, but you're still pretty involved in the show.
Yeah, I'm a soloist this year, so I only have 5 parts in the Nutcracker.
Only 5?
Compared to last year when I was the second soloist, I had 9, and when I was in the corps, I had 11 parts.
Wow.
So, but over 43 shows, I think there are like 10 casts of mostly every part. Corps stuff, there's usually just 2 or 3. Like you said, it's like this year I'll be doing the Nutcracker and Snow King, which are more principal parts. So.
Right.
The workload is more, but I'm not having to be there for every single show, so get some rest in between, but they're actually just harder parts, you know.
Which part is your favorite to play then?
I really I love doing the Snow King, which is the end of the first act. It's a very, very hard pas de deux, but it's beautiful music, wonderful scene, so I enjoy doing that. I've done that for 2 years, and this will be my 3rd year of doing that.
Can you talk about what it's like to work with the other dancers? I understand, like, you guys work with each other every day, so that must be a pretty incredible experience, because it looks so cohesive when you watch it, but I mean, it must be a while to get to that point.
I mean, yeah, it takes a while to get to that point. I started with Boston Ballet in the school when I was 17 and started working with the company, but we work together every single day, all day long, so we're a pretty close-knit group. As far as Nutcracker, we spend the holidays together, we spend Thanksgiving, we open Nutcracker the day after Thanksgiving. So we're used to being around each other, so when we get on stage, it's easy for us to know what we have to do to become a cohesive group putting on a show. So
how can we get tickets real quick for Emerson students right now who want to go out and see the show?
I think there's a student discount.
Okay.
And when is the show?
When is the show? It runs through December 29th at the Opera House.
Great.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. Well, you know what they say, the colder the air, the crazier the football.
Now, I don't think they actually say that, but here's Mike with the sports.
Football in December. The first weekend of 2013's final month was one to remember for sports fans all around the nation. The NFL season is now 3/4 of the way over, and there were some big matchups on tap for the playoff picture. In the race for the ever-jumbled 6th seed in the AFC, the Ravens and Dolphins were the 2 teams in the hunt to come out of Week 13 with a victory. They now sit on top of that list at 6-6. In divisional races, it was a showdown of the AFC West elite as the Broncos took on the Chiefs. Peyton Manning tossed 5 TDs, 4 of them to Eric Decker, which messed up my fantasy team big time since I was playing against both of them. Still won, though. Denver rode their offense to victory. They're now 10-2 and own a 1-game lead in the West. Now, over here in the East, the Patriots look to further their advantage as the AFC's 2nd seed against the 2-9 Houston Texans. Now, Gary Kubiak coming back for the first time since collapsing on the field a month ago. Now, the Texans would give the Pats a bit of trouble. Here's Case Keenum with the keeper, a 6-yard run, puts the Texans up 24-21. Now, the game seesawed back and forth, back and forth. It's the Patriots' turn. LeGarrette Blount here with the 7-yard run. Patriots go up by 4, but not for long because Ben Tate, who had 102 yards and 3 touchdowns, coming in nicely for the injured Arian Foster. That's a 10-yard run. Now 31-31 late in the fourth quarter. The Patriots find a way to get it done. Steven Gostkowski with the 53-yarder. Patriots win this one 34-31. Now, it wasn't just an exciting week in the pros. Some late game heroics changed the landscape of college football for the rest of the year. Take a look at what happened with 1 second left in the Auburn versus Alabama game. I can almost assure you that you've never seen an ending quite like this.
Remember, a blocked kick can go the other way, too. He's got to be careful and get it up.
On the way. No, returned by Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a block. Davis has another block. Chris Davis. No flags. Touchdown.
So that potential game-winning field goal actually turned into a game-winning 108-yard touchdown return for Auburn. With the Tide's roll halted, Ohio State and Florida State are now the 2 teams in line to play for the BCS National Championship. And that's just from this weekend. Never mind the start of this week. Maggie and Anthony, back to you.
All right, I don't think anything will beat that Auburn-Alabama game, but there was a big Monday night showdown last night in the NFL with the 2 best teams in the NFC. What do the results mean for the playoffs?
I mean, it means that the Seahawks are really, really good. And it also means that the Seahawks have clinched a berth into the playoffs. They're now 11-1 after beating the Saints, who were 9-2 coming into the game, 34-7. They look like some real Super Bowl contenders.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Well, we've had plenty of football to talk about after this Thanksgiving.
That's right, but we have also heard some interesting stories coming out of Hollywood this holiday weekend. Christian, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. We have some tragic news to start with today. Actor Paul Walker died this past weekend at the young age of 40. Walker was leaving his charity car show in Santa Clarita when he got in a single car accident. His charity Reach Out Worldwide was raising money and awareness for the typhoon relief efforts in the Philippines. Walker was the passenger in the Porsche coupe when the car lost control and swerved into a tree, trapping both Walker and the Walker and the driver in the vehicle. Shortly thereafter, the car burst into flames. Police reports say that speed was a huge factor in the accident. Walker leaves behind a 15-year-old daughter and his charity. Fans and family hope to keep his philanthropy efforts alive as a symbol for hope for Walker. Kanye West has decided to boycott Louis Vuitton despite his clear love of the designer's clothing and luggage. Apparently, Kanye was insulted that the head of the label refused to meet with him in Paris. West openly told his fans to boycott the designer until after January. It seems like this is just a public stunt to show how much influence he has over the public, and in a shocking turn of events, Kanye himself couldn't resist the supple leather of the LV. He was caught strolling around New York, toting some Louis Vuitton luggage and bags. Ironic, huh? I guess he's just caught up in the moment, right? Because it's Louis Vuitton night. And with that, we turn our eyes up north to Vancouver, where the 50 Shades of Grey film adaptation is underway. Finally, some long-awaited good news from the film franchise. After an increasingly small budget, the lead actor dropping out, and a swiftly approaching release date, the movie has finally begun filming. Erica James, author of the best-selling novel, snapped an Instagram pic on set in Vancouver. Anastasia Steele is to be played by 21 Jump Street actress Dakota Johnson, and her opposite, Christian Grey, will be played by Once Upon a Time regular Jamie Dornan. The movie is set to release in February 2015. Let's see if they can make the deadline. Lindsay Lohan has found an aggressive new way to finagle her way back into the news. She's decided to sue Rockstar Games. She's claiming the gaming studio took her image without permission. Apparently, there's a character in the studio's newest game, Grand Theft Auto 5, that resembles Lindsay Lohan in more ways than one. She appears on the cover of the game taking a cliché selfie, as well as 2 missions, one where she's evading the paparazzi and another where the main character has to snap pics of the celebutante having an affair in the Chateau Marmont Hotel. Surprisingly enough, Lindsay has often stayed and resided in that very hotel. I say if you advertise yourself as a drugged-out, self-deprecating harlot, expect to be made fun of for being a drugged-out, self-deprecating harlot. That's all the juicy gossip I have for you today. Back to you guys on the couch.
All right, Christian, I've played Grand Theft Auto. I've never really thought about Lindsay Lohan while I'm doing it, but how do you think Rockstar is going to react to this lawsuit?
Honestly, I think they're probably going to laugh in her face because they actually have a model who I think resembles Lindsay Lohan, but there's more proof saying that they didn't take Lindsay's, image and copy it than there is saying that they actually did steal the image. So they'll probably.
Well, thank you, Christian. That's all the entertainment news we have time for right now.
But we will soon be entertained by the song stylings of Andrew Smith, so stay tuned.
Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson. It's now time to hand over the show to Jess Griffith, who will be introducing our awesome guest, Andrew Smith, and his band.
Make sure to watch on Thursday when fashion correspondent Madeline Avery is here to dress us for sweater weather. Over to you, Jess.
Thanks, Maggie and Anthony. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Andrew Smith performing Gonna Make It off his debut album, Gonna Get to You.
Tired of my hopes and dreams lying in the hands of someone else. Too young, too old, don't fit the mold. Always seem to be down on myself. But I met up with an old friend who used to be my girlfriend, telling me like it is. You don't have to conform to the social norm, be you and no one else. She said, Drew, you won't always be the one they choose. You gotta find the old fire in you, yeah. You know what you gotta say, I'm gonna make it, yeah. I'm gonna make it, yeah. You can't go pro if you go with the flow. I'll show 'em my heart, show 'em that I'm gonna make it, yeah. So tired of the everyday, the minimum wage, all work, no play. Pick up the pen and I write this song. It's been so long since I felt strong enough to say it's gonna be okay. Wasn't my time, but soon all my rhymes will be heard by everyone I know. Just have a little faith and go. I'm gonna make it, yeah. Oh, I said I'm gonna make it, yeah. Hey. Now you can't go pro if you go with the flow. Gonna show 'em my heart, show 'em that I'm gonna make it, yeah. I believe I can be it, yeah. I'm so close I can feel it. And with you right beside me, my name's lighting up the marquee. And I was looking for light in the dead of the night. I was moping around all over the town. My brother looked me in the eyes. He said, boy, you're 3 feet from gold. You're gonna make it. He said, you're gonna make it. Whoa! I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna choose a different path. He said, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna throw away the man. Cause I've never been one to go with the flow. So I won't change a thing, I'm gonna do what I know. I'm gonna make it, yeah. I said, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it.
Alrighty, thank you so much for being here. So we just have a couple questions for you. Sure. So I know you have an EP out, so can you just tell us a little bit about the recording and the writing process for that?
Of course. So I have an EP, it's called Gotta Get To You, and we released it in October, and I wrote it with Jack and our friend Julia, and we recorded in New York in Jack's basement. Did the best we could.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big step for me. I've never released original music before, so it's kind of the start for me.
That's great. And I know that you played a release concert, so can you tell us a little bit about that, how it went?
Yeah, so we did it at the end of October. We did 2 shows. This is just a little bit of the band, but we have, it's a little bigger, as you can see. But we did 2 shows you know, at a theater in Hyde Park here in Boston, at a place I grew up at. So it was kind of a cool beginning, you know, where I started.
Quick. All right, and now real quick, do you have anything coming up that you can tell us about, any performances?
Sure. So tomorrow I'll be at 24 School Street outside Walgreens. We're going to be doing Christmas songs. I'll be at Downtown Crossing 4 to 6 doing Christmas stuff on Thursday night. And for now, that's pretty much it.
Great, a lot of great things happening. So that's all the time we have for GME. Here's Andrew Smith with his title track, Gotta Get to You.
I pass you every day, walking down this lover's lane. Now everybody's hands in chains except for yours and mine. And 10 million men walk by, and you wave to every guy. What will it take to catch your eye? It's time you realize that I'm the moon and you're the star. When you're lost, I won't be far. And if you stick around, I promise you the best is yet to come. I must be honest with myself. There is you and no one else. Hear me out, I've got a plan. Your every wish is my command. I'll illuminate the dark and brighten up your heart. Every day will feel brand new. But first things first, I just gotta get to you. I just gotta get to you. This year brings nothing new but candy hearts and I love yous. And February always made me blue, but not this time around, no. Cause this year is different somehow. I never had a love worth a while until now. Promise you I'll make it my vow to put you in that wedding gown. Cause I must be honest with myself. There is you and no one else. Hear me out, I've got a plan. Every wish is my command. I'll illuminate the dark and brighten up your heart. Every day will feel brand new. Whoa, I just gotta get to you. Whoa. And I can see the future now. Moving into our first house and you're hanging pictures on the fireplace. I put the last box away and you turn to me and say, I must be honest with myself. There's you and no one else. All those years I couldn't see and you were right in front of me. You illuminate the dark and you brighten up my heart. Every day will feel brand new. Whoa, I must be honest with myself. There is you and no one else. Every wish is my command. You wear my promise on your hand. I'll illuminate the dark. Gonna brighten up your heart. And every day will feel brand new. Whoa, I just gotta get to you, yeah. Oh, I just gotta get to you.